The
No one
shocking
expected the
truth
third
behind
quarter
Steph
of an
Curry's
ordinary
rise,
mid-season
injury,
game
and
to
legacy
explode
for
with so
years.
much fury. Luka Doncic, admired for his poise and magic on the court, found himself at the center of a clash that jolted everyone watching. 1 minute, the arena buzzed with routine hype. The next, fans shot to their feet as a single shove sparked an avalanche of controversies. Was this a fleeting moment of frustration, or did it signal a deeper crack in one of the NBA's biggest rising stars? Curiosity soared as rumors swirled across social media and sports talk shows. Doncic is known for his playful banter and breathtaking highlights, not sudden bursts of anger. Why did he snap? How did Josh Giddey become entangled in this drama, and what does it reveal about both players' mental toughness? Let's piece together the twists that turned a typical hustle play into a storyline that rocked the basketball world. From tip-off, the match crackled with tension. On one side was Luka Doncic, carrying not just his franchise's hopes, but also the expectations of fans worldwide. On the other side stood emerging talents like Josh Giddey, hungry to prove themselves against the league's most revered names, and a relentless rebounder like Kevin Huerter, whose grit alone could alter a game's flow. Both teams sought a critical victory that might shape playoff seeding. Every pass, rebound, and fast break was done with an edge that hinted at underlying stress. Doncic launched a few signature step-back threes, wearing his trademark grin and exchanging barbs with the refs over missed calls. Meanwhile, Giddey quietly navigated the floor, slipping past defenders and threading passes, while Huerter crashed the boards to squeeze out second-chance points. Through minor scuffles and fleeting glares, the pressure mounted like a coil ready to spring. By halftime, small brush fires of frustration kept sparking around the rim. Although no full-blown confrontations erupted, the climate felt supercharged. Doncic had already displayed bursts of displeasure, whether at officiating lapses or the sheer physicality he faced. Observers wondered if the game's intensity might tip him over the edge. Such speculation only grew as the third quarter approached, bringing with it the moment that would shift everything. Kevin Huerter's hustle under the rim was fierce. He battled for a rebound, outmuscling defenders and laying the ball in to sustain his team's momentum. But just outside that scuffle, Luka Doncic and Josh Giddey tangled as they fought for position. Arms locked, hips bumped, hardly unusual in a physical sport, yet frustration can spike without warning when one feels battered by missed calls or relentless defense. In an instant replay that would go viral within minutes, Doncic shoved Giddey backward with his left arm. The crowd's roar went from excited to stunned. This wasn't a playful nudge. Fans gaped as the referees rushed over, blowing whistles and waving arms to prevent the situation from escalating further. Commentators scrambled to dissect the footage. Did Giddey initiate contact? Was Luka reacting to unseen elbows? On slow motion, the incident looked dramatic. Giddey stumbled, though he seemed more surprised than hurt. Luka's expression flashed from annoyance to anger, revealing a rarely seen side of the jovial superstar. In a league filled with passionate personalities, shoves can happen, but they always raise questions about what pushed a typically controlled player to cross a line. Referees conferred and signaled a technical foul on Doncic. While a single T doesn't always derail a player, it's a warning shot that changes the game's mood. Instead of letting the issue slip away, the call intensified scrutiny on Luka's mindset. Kobe White stepped to the line, hit the technical free throw, and put another point on the board. The cameras panned to Doncic, who radiated frustration as he tried explaining himself to the officials. Teammates gathered around, reminding him to stay composed. Opponents gained confidence. Rattling a superstar is a significant psychological win. The air felt heavy with anticipation. Would the tension cool off or escalate even further? When the ball was inbounded again, the focus shifted to Luka's reaction. Some players transform anger into extraordinary performances. Others lose clarity and commit more fouls, risking ejection. The scoreboard remained tight, heightening the stakes. If Doncic couldn't rein in his emotions, his team might fall victim to a meltdown, yet no one was certain if we'd see a spectacular comeback or another explosion. To grasp Doncic's flash of anger, it helps to consider the burden he shoulders. Hailed as a teenage prodigy from Slovenia, he quickly soared to stardom, collecting Rookie of the Year accolades and repeated All-NBA honors. With triumph came immense responsibility. Every missed call, every slip-up can feel magnified for a player constantly under the media's microscope. Rumors of minor injuries, front office tension, or even personal fatigue can all chip away at a star's fuse. Historically known for playful interactions with referees, Doncic has also grown infamous for his visible frustration when calls don't go his way. Perhaps he felt Giddey was getting away with too much physicality, or maybe the refs ignored earlier fouls. In high-intensity matchups, a single tangle can spark all the pent-up fire of an entire season. Few expected Josh Giddey, usually calm and unassuming, to become the unsuspecting foil in Doncic's meltdown. Giddey's reaction reflected composure. After stumbling from the shove, he didn't retaliate with fists or an angry shove of his own. Instead, he paused as though assessing what had just happened. Was he startled by the contact, or was he thinking about drawing another foul? Giddey's reputation centers on creativity, leadership, and a knack for reading the game. He often shrugs off big hits or intense moments, choosing to channel that energy into better plays. If Doncic's shove rattled him, he masked it well. Teammates rallied, ready to protect their rising star. For Giddey, matching up against Doncic and holding his ground might be a defining milestone, a sign that he belongs in the league's upper tier, undaunted by star power. The dust settled for a moment, but the third quarter still had minutes to go. Tension simmered on every possession, with Doncic trying to keep calm while defenders pressed harder. Meanwhile, Huerter kept fighting for every board, stoking the fire of a game that had become far more personal than usual. Fans braced themselves for another confrontation. Could another hard foul trigger a brawl? Would the officials clamp down on even mild contact to prevent tempers from flaring? The scoreboard remained close, adding drama to every shot and foul. Each team sensed that this was bigger than a single regular season contest. Reputations and momentum were on the line, and all eyes zeroed in on Doncic and Giddey's interactions. At one point, Doncic responded to the tension by orchestrating a beautiful play. He drove toward the basket, only to zip a pinpoint pass to a cutting teammate for a powerful dunk. Moments like these reminded everyone why he's revered, a potent mix of vision, flair, and fearlessness. Yet that underlying charge of emotion lingered, making each trip down the court feel like a potential flashpoint. As the game continued, social media lit up in real time. Within minutes, video clips and stills of the shove circulated on Twitter, Instagram, and countless basketball forums. Everyone had an opinion. Some insisted that Luka was defending himself against Giddey's elbows, while others labeled the move a cheap shot. Memes sprouted, displaying Doncic as both a fiery hero standing his ground and a star losing his cool. Josh Giddey's supporters rallied behind him, declaring the shove uncalled for and praising the young guard for not taking the bait. Neutral fans noted that such run-ins have always been part of competitive basketball. They pointed to the rugged rivalries of past decades, where fights and flagrant fouls were common. Still, many found it surprising to see Doncic, so often the playful orchestrator, caught in the throes of anger. Commentators and analysts dissected every angle, speculating about potential fines, suspensions, or grudges. Did the league need to intervene? Would either player address it post-game? Social media thrives on drama, and in this case, the drama was in full bloom. One moment can redefine how fans perceive a star, and Doncic's image as a fun-loving mastermind now stood side by side with clips of him lashing out. Such high-voltage incidents always lead to broader questions. Is Doncic's temper a weakness that opponents can exploit? Should Giddey brace for more rough treatment when they next meet? And how does this event shape the narrative of each player's career? Superstars throughout NBA history, from Michael Jordan to Kobe Bryant, have experienced flashpoints where frustration exposed a fiercer side. Sometimes these incidents signal an evolution in competitive intensity. Other times, they foreshadow deeper challenges with managing pressure. For Luka, balancing unstoppable offense with emotional discipline remains critical. If he channels his anger well, it can fuel heroic comebacks. If not, it risks overshadowing his genius on the court. Meanwhile, Giddey's calm might accelerate his leadership growth. Younger players who withstand confrontations with marquee names often earn respect across the league. Standing firm without crossing the line suggests maturity beyond his years. Coaches adore players who don't crumble under psychological warfare. Teams also take note. Doncic's franchise might consider adding more enforcers or vets to protect their star. Opposing squads might see a chance to rattle Luka if he's prone to outbursts. In a league where psychological tactics can decide outcomes, even minor altercations can profoundly shape long-term strategies. Once the final buzzer sounded, the game ended without further fireworks. Yet tension doesn't vanish instantly. Locker rooms, press conferences, and social media often reveal the lasting effects of high-stress moments. Did Luka apologize publicly? Did Did Giddey shrug it off in interviews? Did coaches or teammates have stern words about composure? The NBA's disciplinary body might review the footage. If they judge the shove too aggressive, fines or other penalties could follow. Sponsors and PR teams watch these stories unfold, ready to manage any fallout. Star images are carefully curated, and an uncharacteristic outburst can require damage control. Observers often recall legendary feuds that started with a single scuffle. Will Doncic versus Giddey become a future rivalry? Next season's matchups might feature headlines about their rematch, hyping it as Round 2. The media loves a compelling storyline, and fans crave showdowns laden with unresolved tension. Either this moment is remembered as a blip in an otherwise smooth career arc, or it grows into a central piece of each player's legend. In the grand mosaic of an NBA season, a single technical foul may seem trivial, yet star players live under a magnifying glass that enlarges every slip. Doncic's shove revealed an intensity he usually channels through dazzling passes and game-winning shots. For better or worse, it opened a conversation about how stardom and stress collide in ways that can erupt on live TV. Josh Giddey, for his part, remained steady, a trait that hints he's more than just a promising guard. Sometimes, how you handle adversity matters as much as raw talent. By not escalating the conflict, he showed discipline that could define his rise in a league hungry for new faces to challenge established icons. Whether this event fades into the background or becomes a talking point for years depends on what each player does next. If Doncic uses this moment to refine his competitive drive while keeping his head, he could continue his journey toward an MVP or even a championship. If Giddey builds on this experience, he might accelerate his path to stardom, having proven he won't buckle under intimidation. Regardless, fans and pundits will dissect, replay, and argue about that shove for a long time. It was a spark that momentarily revealed Luka Doncic's raw edges and cast Josh Giddey in a surprising spotlight. In an era where every angle is immortalized online, such incidents transcend box scores and become part of the league's tapestry of rivalries, legends, and near-mythic showdowns. Above all else, they remind us how emotion and intensity can flip a game on its head, and how a single moment can redefine how we see the brightest stars.